Good evening. Welcome back. Today I'm starting solo. We are going forward with the quest for a better understanding of what the rule of law entails, what the rule of man is and is not, so that together we can develop a common and shared understanding of what may be required to build a nation of not animals, but human beings. What does it take to build a system that speaks to the human spirit? You need the rule of law, you need the rule of man. So I was going through a group, somebody did ask, and there was a spirited debate with Mr. Goodman, Musari, and many people were asking questions. And the questions relate to the motive. Why are you challenging ZANU-PF? And what do you hope to achieve? And the system is skewed in favor of the people in power. What do you hope to achieve? And all these questions are bewildering, tiring, to the extent that many people will not do anything. They just become victims of this paralysis of analysis. Why are you involved in it? Yet the people who call themselves constitutional lawyers are nowhere to be seen. Those who call themselves experts are already aligned to this or that faction. So you can never get an honest opinion as to whether a constitutional state is desirable. If you go to ZANU-PF, they'll say, we got judgments in our favor, the matter is dead and is buried. So why do you need to resurrect demons of the past? There is nothing to prove, nothing to answer. So how can a court that has ruled something to be okay turn around and say it was not okay? So here we are. We have a judgment, and the people involved in the matter are still in disputes after the judgment. What does this say about us? About the promise that we think the system ought to deliver. What is this promise? The people are not ready for democracy, says Njube. Who are these people? Who are these animals we call people? If it's not us, who are they? If it's not me, then who? Pano pari say Mr. M. Apana shirikuitika. If how many of us expect the world to change while we refuse to change ourselves? How many people are harassed to be rebellious in the interest of the many who don't want to be rebellious? Where are these people? Why the silence? Utawashe. Where are the people? Where is the silence? Why is there silence on what matters? This debate is ahead of its time. Why accept independence and you are 30 years away from it? Why raise the flag of independence and you are not ready for it? So there is no debate among the living that is ever ahead of its time. Jesus was ahead of his time. But the people who observed, who listened, had testimonials. They were able to speak to the events that they saw, the words that they heard, and they put it together and called it this version or that version or the same story. So we are the living who choose what to do. So I was talking to the lawyer. He says before anything, he needs money in the bank, and he needs to know who his client is to give him instructions. I tried to argue that the issue of constitutionalism ought to be a shared one. It would be wrong for me to be involved in a story that actually is not my story. If there's a story, let's get it. Can you be more specific on constitutional? One challenge arises from the Supreme Court judgment as to whether the Constitution is the Bible that should limit choices and actions. And in this we mean, like yesterday we heard from Goodman that he is contemplating challenging the legality and constitutionality of the meeting held on the 19th November 2017 that purportedly passed resolutions, and those resolutions are then what informs the present. Welcome, Mango Jed.
Yes, good evening, good evening. I want to apologize for the late entry. I was with work and right. So yeah, I'll let you, go back into the introduction of the show, and then I'll pick it along. I'll pick it up as we go along.
Yeah. So we're talking about this vaccine of the rule of law. It's a conference, and it's what is it, and how best do we build a society that accommodates diversity, plurality of views, and whose view ought to be paramount? Do we operate above the law or below the law? The topic is rule of law versus rule of man. Who is going to finance these activities? Should it be financed by one person? If it's a constitutional challenge? Or the people who are on this show have a vested interest in lifting Zimbabwe to another level where constitutionalism is alive and well? Is MDC legitimate? Was it not overturned by court ruling? No. MDC Coupe is separate and independent. It was not part of litigation. And then, it is not affected except Coupe herself in her personal capacity. And members who were part of the structures of the MDC at the time of the demise of the late Tsvangirai. So MDC, there are many questions who are saying, people were questioning that what is the significance of Toko Coupe being fired? She's already fired herself. by associating with the judgment.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
recognized the MDCT of Changirai. And she's saying that it not been for what happened in MDC, she would not have been associated with MDCT. So MDC remains a party of members. They may wish to dissolve it, and the members will then decide where they go. Some of them may join different parties as they may wish to, but it is not because of the court order. The court order relates to the dispute DCT, not in MDCT Toko Kupe.
Yeah,
So-
I think Ms. Mawere, on that point, I think we need to bring that issue to more clarity in the sense of what it means, because there's a statement that has been put out there, and this statement is saying that Mike Coupe has been fired from the MDCT because
how can you fire someone who's not there? Oh, go ahead.
So those are the issues that I think we must, if we have time, we must delve into, so that we help our people understand what that means. Because at the end of the day, like what you have rightly said, the MDCT that Mike Coupe was leading after everything had happened is not the MDC that was before the court. So therefore, the judgment does not affect this MDCT. It is affecting Mike Coupe. So if Mike Coupe decides to want to say that I want to go back now to right this so-called wrong, then it simply means Mike Coupe is disassociating herself from this MDCT that the Secretary General Mao has said, is rightly said, is not part of the discussion. I mean, it is not part of the SG judgment, the SC judgment.
Yeah. So I think Ms. Coupe has already made an election. Already associated herself with this judgment. So she is now the acting president of the party of Changirai.
Yes.
So that's where things stand.
Right. Is Mr. Mawere, given this development, I know that it can be short notice, but is it not possible for us to get in touch with the committee or Monzora, so that they come back onto the program, and then we tackle this issue?
Then we'll be I don't know, try, but again you run the risk of abusing them.
Absolutely.
And we should be talking about how do we take next steps forward.
Right.
People here who think from yesterday we need to take a step forward.
Right. Right. No, I hear you on that point. I hear you. From that argument point, I hear you.
Yeah. Then Simbarashe, I think we are talking and talking and talking and not doing anything about talking. So yesterday we said, let's set up a fund. And why should we bring Obed Gutu? Why should we bring all these people when we are people ourselves? We exhausted what we need to talk about ourselves for us to be validated by somebody. That's how tyranny starts. It starts from us requesting for it. that we are not complete when somebody's voice is not there. Why don't we pause and take a step back and say, what kind of Zimbabwe do we want? How many here, Ango Jed, want Zimbabwe to be a constitutional state? If you want Zimbabwe to be a constitutional state, please identify yourself by just typing Y. Just type Y. We all know that is what Good is going to say. Why do we need Gutu? Why do we need pop stars to populate what we need to talk about? Those, to explain the Kupe issue, no. What is the Kupe issue that concerns us of the party? We don't want Kupe to head MTC, period. That's not on the, you can do that. Those who don't want it, they know what to do. They are political parties, that is why they contest in the general elections. So those who want us to talk about ourselves, just type Y. Let's not talk about people who don't care about you. And you talk about them. Somebody says we all know that the army will kill us. I'm waiting for the army to kill me. By the people of Vuka Vuka, I enter Mawere. Now I'm intermined. I thought I was the most boring face. Thank you, Vuka Vuka, for seeing what others don't see. But let's stop going around circles. I understands one language. I don't know. Ango Jed, have you seen this Mr. ZANU PF?
Which one?
Mr. ZANU PF, how handsome is he?
Who's Mrs. ZANU-PF now?
No, there are people who want us to fight ZANU-PF. And ZANU-PF knows one thing, ZANU-PF has no mind. Yesterday we had ZANU-PF. So let's appreciate. Let's say Mr. Goodman, what's his name? Goodman, what?
Is it Masiriri?
Musariri. Yeah, okay.
Yes, Masiriri.
Yeah, let's say Goodman Musariri says he's got the courage to take this matter forward. Be prepared to do something about it.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
do something about, what happened 2 days, Maduku cannot be reached. I have tried to engage him. He cannot be reached, but he promised us with no intention of respecting us. So Maduku said every time he's apologizing that he's busy preparing for court case, fine. So he has no time. But he had promised in 2 days I'll come back. The 2 days is made, but he doesn't have, and even apology, nothing. And this is the first time. So when we bring some of these people here, they think they are doing us a favor.
We're just far from it.
Yeah, Mutsetse says I can help with a little contribution of money. Let us look at who is prepared to do something, not complain. Let's get Goodman if he's there. Who is prepared to do? Maduku has given up, and he said he was free over the weekend, and the weekend passed. 2 days passed. So I wonder whether these people who call themselves professional really think about what it means to be a professional, what it means to be a man of honor. I don't know whether we have a shared understanding of what civics is and civics is not. Because there are people who claim to be constitutionalists but are not available to answer the burning questions of the day. What do you do when the people you want to reach are unreachable? When the people you think have wisdom are unwilling to download it? When people misunderstand the public square and private squares? One of them was angry with me. Why did you copy and paste my message? I said, I don't have secrets. Why do you need to burden my ears with secrets? I don't deserve
Right.
matters. But there are people who want that. So I'm you are a media person. And do you find it difficult to get people on stage where they exposed?
Yes, absolutely. It is something that is characterized some of our productions, whereby we try to get people that you believe will help in shaping, the narrative that you're trying, to create, or answer some of the questions, that you might be having. But these people, they are not prepared to avail themselves. All what you hear about these people are reports, that will be in the various, media spaces, especially print media. But when you then want to bring them onto a platform, like this one, where we will be interrogating them, you find that these people are not prepared to be coming, forward for the interrogation. And some of them, they even get to a stage of asking you to pay them for them to come onto the platform. And you wonder, what is their true position when it comes to the issues that they're advocating for? Do you want me to pay you so that you come onto my platform and clarify your position to the people? How does that work? What is the incentive? What is the driving force? What is it that is driving these people to be occupying certain positions that they occupy in our society? And if we get to that stage whereby we are having these people being the champions of what they do, and we're having the generality of the Zimbabwean population that are thirsty for information, that want to understand, and you try to bring these people onto the platform so that they help the generality understand, and then they they put hurdles in the way to say, if you want me, I am going to be available at such a time and only for 20 minutes. And if you can't afford that, then I'm not going to be there. Or if you want me, buy me data so that I come onto your platform. And if you can't afford that, then I'm not going to be on your platform. So you then start to wonder, what is it that these people want? What do they want? What is it that they are really after in this struggle, or in whatever it is that they are purporting to be championing? So yes,
you have
you face,
how many times do you get this question? When the show is started, who are our night?
You see, it is this expectation that people that always have to say, for a show to be productive or for a show to be meaningful, there has to be a big name. There has to be somebody who is well known in the public domain that has to come and grace the occasion. But I don't believe, in that. Because what we are trying to push here is a people cause. And when I say people, I am talking about the ordinary person. I'm talking about you and me. Forget about the titles that you and I might be having. Forget about the title that the next person might be having. But what we are only interested in is the title of being a person. Are you a human being? Yes. Are you affected by the things that are happening in our country? Yes. Are you prepared to want to see another side or a different scenario happening altogether? Yes. So if you are prepared for all these things, what is it that is stopping you from coming forward, from putting your name, or from saying, today, I want to be the guest on that show? What is it that is stopping you? Why would you want to be advocating for another person or for another name to be on the platform so that we discuss the issues that matter to us? Yes, I do get those questions.
And that's
Or invite. Oh yes, but
yeah.
he's big something, BSR.
And Jube says, let's stop overrating a constitution. It's made by people and can be destroyed by people. Yes, we are not overrating anything. In the animal, there's no constitution. Smith had a constitution. So if you decide to be governed by rules, then follow your own rules. If you don't want rules, just scrap the rules. We are not here saying that you must have a constitution for you to be. No. We are saying you make an election. If you make an election that you need to be governed by rules, so be it. Don't operate above the rules that you have put for everybody. If you say the president must be elected by Congress, that is the law. If you say Mawere must chair the meeting, like here, we have no rules for somebody to ask who is chairing, who is hosting today, as if we agreed on rules. Why don't we organize ourselves so that we have rules? Then we program these shows together. I come here as an individual. Uncle Jed comes here as an individual. He spent a day doing other things. I spend a day doing other things. We arrive here as strangers. Yet when people see us together, they see us, they think we have some time to spend for us to conspire against you. When they see me with so and so, they think I have made a selection, but the same people think that they are doing us a favor by coming here. They actually count it against you that I've given you so many favors. I've come to your show. Then I say, it's not my show. But the understanding is not the same. So let us try to correct the understanding. If you want outcomes, you must be the input to the outcomes. If you want revenues, you must be prepared to spend something to get revenues. If you want air, you get air. If you want nothing, you get nothing. But if you want to come here and you want Zimbabwe to change, don't push words to substitute action. There are many dreamers in life, but the best dreamers are the ones who see their dreams through. We have to do something. We have to live here with something. It can't be good business that every day we talk about the same tired things, about what things are not being done, what should be done, without identifying Who is going to do things except us? If we want the constitutional court to be challenged, we have to be the voice of challenge. We can't outsource our aspiration. We can't outsource our independence, our sovereignty. We can't outsource who we are. We have to be the change that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are not prepared to change ourselves, yesterday will be the same day. And you continue to ask questions. The constitution or no constitution need to be reset again. Zimbabwe needs no resetting, Henry. But you and I need to rethink. We got the mind deposited in us. Ango Jade, have you ever seen Mr. Zimbabwe complaining?
No.
Yeah. Do you know how big the stomach is of Mr. Zimbabwe or Miss Zimbabwe? Have you ever heard that person complaining that they want to be fed?
It's like it is a bottomless pit.
There is nothing called Zimbabwe except us.
Mm-hmm.
We are the minds of Zimbabwe. And if you see 60 people here, what is in our minds? Talk, 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 talk. Until when? Nothing changes. Tomorrow will be the same as today. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday we had Komichi. And we ambushed it. Zimbabwe has nothing left. All chapter 9, 12, militarized revolution is the only alternative. Okay, you don't have to talk about the revolution here, Henry. Here we're talking about things we can do wherever we are. Zimbabwe will always be there. It doesn't need us to be alive. What can we do to develop our Zimbabwe? Say first, Utawashe. Who are you? Man who has got Utawashe twice. Utawashe squared. Iweneni tinebasa. Let's not talk about Zimbabwe, the country that we all say we love but do nothing to make it great. What can we do? Senegal is not developing anything. There are no ventilators, no ventilators in Senegal. There are human beings in Senegal that are like you and me. It is those people who have ventilators at $60. Senegal itself does not need a ventilator. Chamisa chete, what can I say? Then where are you, wise men? A wise man would seek to put another human being on a higher pedestal. Let's us all walk on the same ground, but we are better for it. Good evening, Mr. Lennon.
Mawere, good evening. How are you?
Never harvest what you have not sown. What you have sown. When you ask questions, how far are we? When you are not in the bus, then it means you are a backing person. So let us, I'm saying, you and I work together as individuals, Utawashe. There's a lot that we are not doing. And I spoke to the lawyer this morning, and he told me, Mawere, it's going to cost $5,000 to $10,000. I asked, Which dollars? RTGS says, no, that's not a currency, my friend. I mean the currency of the United States. So we need to come up with $10,000 to fight this cause. They are enthusiastic about the cause. They are not intimidated to do anything else but to go to court. They've said, I said, should I pay 10,000 myself? We agree that it would be wrong for me to pay 10,000 for a cause that we believe in. And you are not able to be the voice of it. Let us step forward, do the things that we believe in. And we have who is a member of ZANU-PF. He has been harassed today just to expose whether he's for real. Imagine going through harassment by your own people. The information David is on handicap. Citizens should be informed on issues. $1,000 for what? To go to court and challenge the constitutionality and legality of the Central Committee meeting held on the 19th of December, the year of the Lord 2017. Was the meeting properly called? Was it properly convened? If it was, what are the limitations that are imposed by the operation of Section 38, which vests the power to preside over that meeting in the president of the party, who is also the chairperson or the presiding officer of Central Committee meetings, and also the chairperson of the Politburo and Congress itself, and other organs of the party. So here we are. We know that a meeting was held on the 19th of November. Was it a legal meeting? If it was not legal, then anything that happened in that meeting and subsequently is invalid. That's what we've learned, that Chamisa, anything that happened after Tsvangirai's death in the name of MDCT is invalid and void. You can't give it life. It must be a collective thing. It has to be a citizen's initiative, so you can't pay that 10,000 alone, even if you wanted to, Peter Mtis. That's what I said to the lawyer. I'm coming back to have this show. No pop stars. No bullshit. Those who want to pledge their own money, even if it's $10, even if it's $20, it all adds up to a cause that we think we believe in. We have to own it. Those who want to be part of this initiative, so that those who say the courts are biased and they're correct can test, so that we can reduce the frontiers of bias, of dependence, of capture, whatever you call it. Those who want to test and expose that in our courts, there are also evil men and women.
Yeah, but
If you believe, yeah. Go ahead.
Your discussion with the lawyer earlier today, did you get an impression that you have good prospects of attending whatever happened?
No, you said from the wording of that section, it's peremptory and no meeting can take place unless it enjoys the knowledge and consent of the president.
I'm not so sure of that, in the sense trying to put across the point that from our discussion last week, I've managed to do a study of the ZANU-PF constitution, and I think I still stand with the position that that meeting was properly convened, it was properly presided over, and any chance of challenging the legality of that meeting as being void or whatsoever is, to me, it's just maybe just being frivolous. I'm not so sure. It's
You have an opinion, I think, and we are talking. What are we going to do to test? But if we become judges ourselves, no need for us even to proceed. Yeah, so we go with the advice of those people. We pay them to do the best job they can. And they will give us, and then we look at it so that those who want to be able to perfect it can perfect something. But to do nothing and to have now paralysis of analysis where I am now bombarded by a professor of law like you, and I'm not a professor of law. All I know is that what is right is right.
So if it's coming from that background, then you are definitely spot on that it wouldn't be harmful to give it a try. But my worry are the substantive issues that you seem to base your argument to invalidate what happened then.
No, I'm not the lawyer. I don't pretend to be the lawyer. And all I'm saying is that we need a fund to fight for the ideas that we think ought to be fought. Some
yes.
But to sit here, revolutionaries, and day in, day out, we start arguing among ourselves, I don't think it's a productive use of our time.
Yeah, you're right.
Those who have trained to be lawyers, let us tell them that we have a judgment that is now law, that if you are not the Congress, you can't create a president, period. And if something is not in your constitution, whether it's popular, it's attractive, it's seductive, leave it. Don't touch a car that is not yours. Just leave it. The court will tell the aggrieved party to go and exhaust all the internal remedies before approaching it, yes. But now we now know that the remedies of a coup cannot be reversed. What is the outcome do you expect? We expect the court to make a pronouncement. The meeting was held outside the provisions of Section 38. That's all. So we can ask
but you know, it seems to be making a good point that where internal remedies within the party itself, was there any pursuit of any internal remedies first before you seek for?
That's what I'm saying is that would be the advice of the lawyers to say how best you approach this injury, if it's an injury. But a lawyer would have to do his own research and come up with a considered opinion.
Yeah, I think if it's that way, then it's a worthy cause that maybe we can strategize how best we can raise the amount that is needed. I'm not so sure what you have in mind. Maybe where we can put together these contributions and then pursue a case. Should you think, from our discussions in the past few shows, that there's something tangible?
No, first is, who are we? We need order and structure.
I am a member of ZANU-PF. I'm a member of ZANU-PF in good standing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're a member of ZANU-PF. All we're saying is that let us deal with constitutionalism. Those who are interested in perfecting constitutional issues, Zimbabwe can be a constitutional state, then let's do so. Let's test both sides. We know Mashavira has tested the MDC side, and we want also the ZANU-PF side to be tested. So it doesn't matter whether ZANU-PF or
And do you know, by any case, somebody asked a question earlier, as in who was funding Mashavira? Somebody asked that question earlier on.
Oh. And who was funding Mashavira? And no, because I don't even know who Mashavira is. So I wouldn't know. Yeah, I don't have. I don't know Mashavira. I wouldn't be able to answer for him because I've never met him. Can you cost of yours that we have a case law already decided? The MDC judgment is our reference point. Mashavira was never asked to revert to internal remedies. So, and it's Comich and Bank. Yeah, so I don't know if they did find it, that's fine. So if there is anything that I can do to change that, then I don't know. But what I'm saying is that constitutionalism must not be limited to partisanship. Yeah. Is that correct, sir? Who is there? Lennon is gone. Mashavira is the guy who reported MC, who paid his fees. Maduku said he was paid. Who paid him as Maduku? I don't know, but I guess you can check with him. It had to take Ruizi on MDC issues. He's a member of ZANU-PF in good standing and unethical organization. Why question mark MDC will never be the same again, and believe that. So that's what we have. Angu Jade is occupied. So I got 10 minutes to go. Any question, if we are not organized, then we get the outcomes that we deserve. You want to throw people's money in the dustbin, remove. How do you remove ZANU-PF? They are in control of the government. It's not going to be a picnic. It takes a whole army to be deployed to remove a tired old man. Hello?
Hello there.
Yeah.
Maswera.
Yeah, I'm on there.
Yeah, I figured. I said I could talk to you over the phone if that's okay.
Okay, all right. But people may not hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can they hear me?
Yeah. Why don't you come on the link?
All right. My Wi-Fi is quite difficult. I don't know why.
It's a free platform, so if you can't make it, fine. But nobody's going to force you.
No, my Wi-Fi is difficult, but send me the link. I'll try.
Yeah, the link is already in the groups here, so there is no. Okay, let me send it.
All right.
Hello, and then our senior says, please call me. I can't join on Zoom. This Zoom. Everybody wants their own platforms. I don't have that. So, if you don't want to contribute, just keep your money. We'll fund the noble, like-minded. That's the spirit, Peter. We don't want to come here to lament. I can't do this. I can't do that. I am not only. I end up becoming a phone operator. If we are going to be in the same platform, come. The Mary, I've sent the link. The link, just ask for it. But it's an open platform. Let's talk about things where we start arguing about who is the best lawyer, who is not the best lawyer. Let us be the change that we want to see. Let us not subcontract the change that we want. Let us not get other people to finance the outcomes we want. Let us be the voice that we want Zimbabwe to have. We will never resist our voices. Zimbabwe is open for business. There is nothing you can correct in Zim as long as ZANU-PF is in power. I'm ready to contribute to the cause. Webster Goredema, you are the person I'm waiting for. It's just short, sweet, and simple. That I don't want to talk about things I cannot do anything about. Let me walk the talk and be counted. Change requires change agents. It's time to contribute on health. COVID is real. MDC will finish your efforts, Comrade MM. Funding such kind of politics is a waste. We are talking about Zimbabwe, the people who are controlling the COVID-19 resources, the healthcare industry, are people who came through questionable pathways. We are not talking about MDC. I'm talking about the Zimbabwe that we have. When people have to go to court to confirm what they already know. Imagine I go to court 2 years later. I blame the victims that it's moot. But you cause the mootness. do you take my car for 2 years? After 2 years, your crappy car. Go ahead. That is the civilization that we must decide. Are we going to be a nation of laws or a nation of men who operate above the law that everybody is subjected to? Are we going to have health care locked down by people who may not be accountable to you, who think they own you, they are your government? Or you want to test this so that never again shall any person urinate on others, piss on others? What kind of Zimbabwe do you want? It's your choice. If you think it's worth $100, then so be it. Put your $100 to secure it, test it, so that those who benefit from your silence can stop it. How would they stop if there's no stop sign? How would they do anything? So let us be vigilant. We are the change that we are waiting for. So let us be the change. Let us be the ones who stand on some ground. This is non-partisan. Put Zimbabwe first. We are tired of a divided person. Comrade MM, to my point of view, Zimbabwe must focus too much on economic. Zimbabwe, and we are not focusing on what needs to happen. We have to make it happen. The world will know that on this day, Webster Goredema did this. So and so did that. Why do we need to pontificate, equivocate, and vacillate on something that we believe in? Why do we need to talk about the things that we can do something about? Why? Why do we need to continue to debate? Is Zimbabwe a constitutional state? Did ED walk on a constitutional path to be the president of ZANU-PF? If he did, then that's fine. If he didn't, then we have to know from the courts that have adjudicated on the Chamisa case. So I do hope that I'm being understood. There are things that we can do. There are things that we can't do. We are just human. Some are living in distant shores. Economy is in a mess because of politics. I would like to say, because of me and you, up to now, we're still not talking. We are still continuing to talk about a big economy. But this small economy of 66 people, we are not talking about it. What are we going to do? Sakatodi. I'm tired of talking to this ZANU-PF character MDC character, whatever the country character. Our country has been hijacked by mafia. How do you hijack a country? Is it possible intellectually, practically to hijack? We are hijacked by our own silence. Martin Luther King said, silence is the greatest betrayal. Yes, who happens to be soldiers on an election will never liberate our beloved nation. We are our own liberators. Their wealth is all they care about. Will never solve our problem. Komich Monzora. I'm tired of talking about Komich and Monzora. And do you know what Komich is saying now? Komich is saying, I cannot be associated with this cause because the battle in the MDCA camp is brutal and fierce. A lot of work and focus is required. He's saying that he has no time to focus on constitutional matters. And he's telling me, not you. Yesterday we were having the same discussion. And he said that this is not his core business. His core business is to get MDC in order. Yes, you can say it's not MDC you are talking about, yet it's the MDC issue that brought you to this platform. I've been on this platform without the MDC, without the dispute, before this dispute. But if you want to characterize me as small, that I'm driven by MDC to be on this platform, what do I get from MDC to be here? Chamisa was voted for by the people of Zimbabwe, and here we are with people talking as if you don't know what is happening. You are accusing me of something that I am here because of MDC. There can be no court ruling on ZANU-PF if there's no complainant. The Chamisa case was brought about by Mashavira and Kupe. We have found somebody who is a complainant. Munya, where have you been? He said yesterday he's willing to be the complainant. But the lawyers need to be paid like anything else. Comrade MM, let's stop politicize this platform, and we have measures to problems. So some people politicize this platform. They are saying that I'm here because of Chamisa, that I'm so small-minded. I have been injected with a virus, Chamisa, to cause me to be here, just for hatred. That there are no issues in MDC. I am now causing issues in MDC. That's what I'm being told. That this application to test the legality and constitutionality on the ZANU-PF side is misguided. Has no merit. Before we even start anything. So what shall we continue to talk about? That the judges are biased without us going straight. There was yesterday, Munya, if you are not here, there's a man called, what's his name, Goodman Musariri, who is a member of ZANU-PF, I believe, in good standing. Isn't it that you make Chamisa to be who he is, Comrade MM? I don't know who Chamisa, I mean, Chamisa is a human being like me. He can speak for himself. I can't make him what he is not. I have to respect him as a human being, and equally he has to respect me. But apart from that, we're talking about what kind of society do we want? And if we want a better society, then we have to change ourselves. Hello?
Hi, how are you, Mama Wele? How are you?
How are you? You wanted to say something?
I know I couldn't. My Wi-Fi is not working.
Okay, you can say on the phone then.
Oh, okay. So my question to you was, we were talking about the rule of man versus the rule of law. And as I think, I wanted to ask you a question. Where do we start in our ability to construct a constitution? Where do we start as party members? Where
We are not
do
here to talk about
but
parties. I thought we had made it clear that we are here to discuss.
but before we get there, we've got to come from somewhere, from the employment agent that sends us there.
No, I'm saying is that yesterday,
Right?
yesterday we had a show. Somebody is willing to take up the matter in the courts.
Well, I wasn't on the show yesterday.
Yeah, so let me brief you that there was a gentleman with Komichi. Komichi was asked the same question. Why were you silent when all these transgressions were taking place? And he said he prefers to work in the background, and he did a lot that may not be apparent to the public, to the Joe public. But it doesn't mean that he supported some of the things that were taking place. Then, the way forward, whether he would be a party to a process to test the neutrality or the objectivity and independence of the judiciary. Because on the one hand,
that sounds exciting.
On the one hand, we have a judgment. Mr. Mavinga is there, Daily News, 25 November 2017. Judge President George Chweshe has said the takeover of government by the army, which culminated in President Mnangagwa's resignation, President Mugabe's resignation, was lawful. Lawful. This comes after two citizens approached the High Court, arguing that the army's intervention was necessary on the basis that Mugabe could no longer be in a position to make independent decisions, now acting under the petticoat or the bedroom with Grace's influence. I'm just reading what is there. I don't know this is what was reported in the Daily News. General Constantine Chiwenga, the applicants was Joseph something, Eva Sibanda or something. So that's what Mr. Mavinga shared. You can Google and get it. But we are not here to revisit history, no. We are here to take a step forward. The same court that declared that the resignation and what happened was lawful, constitutional, and valid is the same court that said Chamisa was. So that's where we are. Can you trust the same courts?
Well, I don't read the information on what Mr. Tewama Vinga is saying here. So
Yeah, it's on the screen, but I've read it anyway. It doesn't matter because I've read it.
I'm talking about what in the Constitution or whether.
No, there is a judgment or there's a judgment already.
And the was under the principle of his wife.
That the judge in favor of the people who approached the court, saying that there was nothing unlawful about the manner in which President Mnangagwa succeeded Mugabe.
Not clear.
Yeah?
Right, I hear you now.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So they were just giving us the factual basis as set out in the daily news. So there's nothing new. So we are not here to debate. I'm not competent. I don't represent any of the parties. So,
well, obviously the parties are a public interest. They are what generates somebody who becomes president of the government of the country. And I have an interest to see how the party administers.
no, I'm saying is that can we make this platform inclusive? Because if and then I own requirements.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so I'm not here to promote my personal wishes. I'm saying that if we are interested in constitutionalism, then we will have to walk the talk.
Why I'm saying that constitutionalism starts at the grassroots. When a tomato vendor has a voice that is heard.
So I'm saying is, I'm not here to argue with you. What is constitutionalism? What is not? I'm here to say those who are interested.
That is one who ends up.
Are you interested in playing a part in building? Yeah.
Indeed.
So that's all. And if you are interested, are you interested in chipping into this cause? Because it won't.
No, not too fast to chip in right now. I need to see how this is going.
It will never see. It will never go anywhere. If you want.
My question. I keep asking this question because if it is, we cannot achieve an ability for the ordinary person to have a voice in the government. If we fight for constitutionalism, by members of parliament who have not been elected by anyone, or councillors who have.
But you already argue. You already into arguments. I'm saying is that let's try to have order. Those who are interested in constitutionalism, please identify yourself. Then once you are constituted, then you decide the agenda.
You don't have the right
No, I'm saying is that I'm tired of arguing with people. I'm saying is if you are interested in a woman, don't start arguing whether she's a virgin or not.
I've seen that argument before.
No, but let's not get into that. If you are interested, yeah.
That's fine. Just wanted to sure I like this project, but I want us to understand the root of the problem.
No, but you already lectured. Why do you want to lecture on me? I don't need the lecture. But if you are interested in something, go to church, not to go to heaven. How many people go to church?
Right.
Yeah. How many people have faith in something?
We all have faith.
But you're asking me that before I have faith in something, convince me that I'm going to go to heaven.
Right.
Then I don't see myself being competent to answer those questions.
They say we are yet to change the past and let's focus on the future, harnessing ourselves the constitutional rules.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know. Then there's a platform is political. As long as you talk for constitution and rule of law, why bringing committee? Because there is a judgment. Is a beneficial judgment.
Committee refused to carry out the primary elections was the headman to put certain individuals
Now we're
office and individuals after electing Chamisa where he is. So he was part of the crime. That is why people are asking, innocents are asking. That is how the constitution was structured because everyone was empty.
So I'm saying we need subjects to talk. Even your worst enemy has got a lesson in him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have a hot topic here, Mama.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, we will talk again, and maybe we have a meeting of the minds in terms of the constitution versus the grassroots power that.
But who do you want to talk to about that? Who do you want to talk to about that? Who is the Jesus of constitutions?
No, I'm just saying that we will have a meeting.
Between No, between who and who? Who is going to be in that meeting?
Motivate.
No, who is going to be in that meeting?
These fellow worshippers.
No, I'm saying who is going to be in that meeting? So organize it. No, I'm saying organize the meeting. Yeah, but do you want to make a contribution here or you want to derail the effort?
No, I'm not derailing.
Yeah.
I'll let you think on that. I'll get back with you.
Yeah, please don't think. Yeah, just think on your own and then come up with your own number and say, I want to contribute X, but not to discuss with me.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Based on ZANU-PF, what do you think yourself? Was it constitutional or otherwise? From my that I've been, I have access to, it was not constitutional. Our country has been hijacked by the mafias called Wolves and those who are close to our leaders. I don't know. We have allowed you have heard it. We have allowed ourselves divided over nothing. Imagine I ask somebody, where are we going? When we are going together, why would I need to burden somebody to lead me where I want to go? If you believe in constitutionalism, then you don't need to ask me a question. In your heart of hearts, you must decide, are you happy with what is going on in Zimbabwe? If you are not happy with the Chamisa judgment, you must be happy with the challenge because it allows us to test. Tell him to organize his own meeting and leave this platform. I'm seeing it as productive and brainwashing action. That's what I told him. But there are people who want to argue for the sake of arguing, who want to create conversations when there's nothing to have a conversation about. What we are talking about is what you want to do. So if you are interested in this community of people who can share ideas, interrogate ideas, make people accountable, please register your interest. And say, I want to be the change. So on that note, unless there are other issues, it's about time that we take stock of ourselves. The only power people have power is the power to organize, not agonize. So let's organize. And let's be able to organize so that something from our anger, pain, happiness can result into something. Nothing will come from nothing. Talk will never produce a happiness. So I thank you for being part of this show. I know when we have a guest of your interest, then some people would be alive because of that. Let's be alive daily, hourly, even per second. Let's not lock down our minds. Let's be alert. Let's be vigilant. Because it is you who counts. It's not the constitution. It's not the country. It's not the party. It is you who is the address of change. Wake up, see the change that you are not witness to because you are not part of it. You can be. We can convert this platform into a platform of purpose. It just takes one. Peter Mtisi takes Reg Mahachi to say, guys, let's not talk. Let's do something. History will remember us. Anything that we do, there's a record of it. We can't bring it back, but it's done. So we can have powerful ideas, but they won't turn into something until there's a human voice. So Reg Mahachi, thank you very much. Bekezelo Zoldo, thank you very much. Just to say I'm in, wherever it takes. If the pastor says I'm going to heaven, if I go to hell, he won't be there. But at least I have faith that I'll get somewhere. If I do nothing, I'll remain where I am. Imagine the world without faith. Just believe that Mawere cannot sit here talking about constitutionalism. It doesn't matter. Just to believe in me. Huh? Just to believe in me. That I may be a bullshitter. But at least you can trust my bullshit. So that's the whole thing. So we are there just to provoke your mind. Lawrence, Chinomera, yes. Just to say I'm in. Some can even indicate that I'm in for amount. That's what I can afford in these days of COVID. That, guys, talk is cheap. Tomorrow we need to make the tough decisions. The lawyers are already working. It's not a joke. They are doing their part. Are we willing to do our part? The question is yours. Here you see Mr. Shishiri. He's a lawyer talking about presidents, vice president who was lost nominated, removal. All this is being done in the interest of securing the future that we want. So why would they do this without an interest from us? So we are the change that we are waiting for. Yes, Munochkiwa Okeli, Brian, Mabika. So I'm counting. Maybe we are 10. So please. Okay, the lawyer says the paragraph 14 of the fourth schedule is quite interesting. Indeed, the battle is capable of being fought from many fronts. That's the lawyer saying this is a battle he wants to be part of. And Chumanda, Wongai, Kudakwashe, I'm in. So if you are in, all we want to hear is whether you are in or you are not in. We are tired of arguing about what it means to be committed. We are not here to discuss, to be experts. I am not an expert on constitutionalism. But what I do know is that any society that is rule-based will always be superior to one that is not. Admire Were. Welcome. Thank you. So I am putting $1,000 in this course. And the lawyers are working. The lawyers are working already. I am excited because I know that if we do nothing, nothing will come out of it. In the meantime, I'm sorting out. So somebody is sorting out. And those who want to hear the voice of the lawyer, this is not the voice of this is the voice of a lawyer. Those who are interested, hello? Hey, Kwakadina, I see you are giving me the country's constitution.
Yes, I saw just out of interest. The paragraph 14 to the 6th schedule.
Yeah.
You know, to raise some very important issues, but at national level.
Okay.
Well, what it says is that in the event that a sitting president resigns, the vice president Aripo in the capacity of a president.
That's right.
Yes. So what happened is that even assuming that the resignation was proper, the argument still remains that we only had one VP at that time.
But you see, if we are not focused in terms of the constitutional question that we need to raise, then we will be going off track.
Well,
no, that is already known. You remember, that's one of the arguments that the transfer of power in government could never pass a constitutional muster. But first, the real battle was who takes control of ZANU-PF. Because whoever took control of ZANU-PF was protected by the national constitution. Yeah. So everyone knew that the ZANU-PF constitution did not permit a coup within it. So Section 38 is a coup mitigation clause that no meeting at all can take place without the president of the Central Committee, which is the highest decision-making body in between congresses. So that clause, when properly read, it says the power to convene and preside over a meeting is vested in the president. Yeah. Not in the vice president or the national chairman.
All right.
So,
I do appreciate.
Yeah, so I spoke to GT.
Okay.
And I also told him the same thing, that guys, it's a narrow issue that has to be determined. That
I don't need to widen it to so broad.
Yeah, because then you are now expanding the scope for confusion. And it's a confused matter because there are people who are saying it's impossible to rely on Section 38 on its own. But Section 38 on its own is a standing clause. It doesn't rely on anything else.
Yeah, section 38 can stand on its.
Not can. It does stand on its own two legs. All it says that for you to have a session of the Central Committee, you can't do so without the paramount chief knowing.
Yes.
So no meeting can take place whatsoever without the head of the fish knowing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so that's where we stop in the attack. I mean, you're not fighting anyone. You're not fighting a president. You're not fighting anyone. All you're saying is that we now have the Supreme Court that has ruled that the Constitution is paramount. So all we want is the court make a declaration as to what constitutes a valid session.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I will come back to Uganda all night.
Okay, thanks. So you have heard that the lawyer is already working. Who should own the constitutional challenges? Yes. That's Kurakwashe. You couldn't have said better than I can. Ownership. Ownership of processes and outcomes. The farmer, whose seed is it? If it's our seed, let us make sure it germinates, becomes a harvest. Because we played a part in sharpening the minds and interrogating issues. We are not fighting anybody. Constitutionalism is non-partisan. It cannot be that I'm happy with Chamisa judgment, then I say something else to another judgment. So let us be consistent, be focused. Those who have said, count me in, please tell us, how deep do you want us to count on you? And what kind of counting is it? Let's build a foundation together. Let us be the change we want to see. Let us not outsource it when we should own it. Let us not argue about the process we want to be part of. There is no leader who takes you where they have been before. Then it's not life. You're just going in circles. We all don't know what life is. We all don't know where we are going. But we are assured that we would live to see the next day. If we don't, that's the end of life. But history will never lie. It will say, this is what we have done in the interests of making Zimbabwe a nation of rules, not an animal kingdom, where anything goes. No one knows what to expect. So Vuka said, I love the energy. I hope, Vuka, we can count on you. I see the silence when we talk about stepping up to the plate, walking the talk. There's too much. But we can go for lunch. No one is willing to give up lunch so that we can advance the cause of constitutionalism. Rule of law protects everybody, the poor, the rich. But rule of man protects the man with power. Which kind of civilization do you want? Where a big man say, trust me, but if you upset me, you pay the ultimate price. Let's agree on one thing. Power is not given. Indeed, nobody gives you. But what is power? That most people want to have, but they don't know how to use it. The power to persuade, to make someone go to hell and look forward to it. You think we have that power? But good things will inspire change. For us to have rule of constitutionalism, well supported, the courts will always be manned by people like you and me, men of flesh. Never trust any man of flesh. Even me with objectivity, I will always be biased to what I know. I will always eat the foods that I'm accustomed to. So don't be naive to expect somebody to be you, to act in your interest. So once we know that, then you know we need constitutionalism, those in power in check. So we can't have ourselves sleeping, then expect outcomes. No. As far as Zimbabwe, we need a new start. Not we. We start here, VUCA. We are still talking. Well, can I count you in towards this project? Can I count you in? Eh? So we are tired of talking. VUCA, we've been talking and we are still talking. So can we end this show? Just join. We are saying let's us put our minds to something. Let us do something so that tomorrow will be remembered for that something. So let us not keep on talking things that we can do something about. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You are the last person to intervene. Yeah, okay. What can I say?
Yeah, I would like to start by saying, I'll repeat what I said the other day. This is a subject of interest to me as a concerned citizen of Zimbabwe. And in some, count me in. And what I mean by count me in, I would like to think that constitutionalism.
No, you are not making a statement. Just talk to the count me in for what?
Yeah, it requires to allow people to speak freely.
Who's going to allow a person to speak? You can speak, man.
Yeah, so
I'm not there to allow people to speak.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to disturb your show, but it's important when we talk of constitutionalism. In my view, it's a very critical issue that requires we should allow people to participate freely. It requires a lot of empathy. Maybe you'd want me to say, maybe guide me what you want me to say, because I wanted to speak freely.
No, I'm saying is we have 24 hours to speak freely. We come here for a purpose. If you say count me in, just say what it is that you want to be counted in for. So we move so that we talk constitutionalism to the courts, so that the courts becomes the arbiters of how important constitutions are. And if the courts are not doing their job, we expose them.
I will not hesitate, Mr. Mawere. This is an equal participation. You cannot allow. You can't allow people to speak freely. Allow me to speak freely. Allow me to waffle.
No, I'm saying I'm not God. I just want to avoid you asking for a favor from me.
What I understand, Mr. Mawere, you are someone who's very objective. So an objective discussion is something that I'm trying to talk about now. Let's talk. Let's have a discussion.
No, I don't want to have. I'm tired of discussions.
So why are we here, Mr. Mawere?
I'm saying those who want to be part of this initiative to test constitutionalism, the practical.
I'm asking you a question, Mr. Mawere. Why are we here?
To provoke people to participate in a project.
So, Mr. Mawere, allow me to...
I'm not God. I'm not going to tell you. But I can't be listening to all the voices here.
No, we can't also be listening to your voice alone.
That's why I'm saying I'd rather not be here than me here. You host the show, and then we can talk about general matters. I'm only here for a limited space.
No, Mr. Mawere, I'll repeat. You educate me, allow me to...
I'm not an educator.
Listen to me, then I'll listen. This approach is a very good approach. To me, it sounds like it's more or less like a referendum. And once you say that, you allow people to speak freely, and you tap in, you get the right things.
And then what do I do? What do I do with that information? My head is already saturated with a lot of ideas. I don't...
I was taught compromise. Guide me. What is it that you want me to say?
I don't need it. I just want you to be yourself. If you want to be part of the cause and on the process of approaching the cause to test things, then that's fine.
The problem is, Mawere, you're listening to yourself. You're not getting me because you're not giving me even 10 seconds to speak. You're listening to yourself.
Okay. So you want me to sit here and listen to you and listen to 100 people?
No, what I'm saying is I want you to understand that this is a very important, very critical topic which I'm interested in. I'm saying it demands listening ears. It demands participation.
No, I'm saying is that there are people who cannot afford to pay legal fees. And that's fine.
Mr. Mawere, what I'm saying is without making people understand what we are talking about, we cannot mobilize what we want.
I'm not here to mobilize anybody. I'm not here to mobilize anybody.
You're there to mobilize. I'm here to mobilize.
No, but I'm saying is, can we have another show for mobilization?
On this platform. This platform is...
But do I have to be here?
Sorry?
Do I have to be on this platform?
No. You have to listen, Mr. Mawere. I have to listen. We all have to listen to each other. This is the foundation of building a constitution.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to listen to each other.
But that's what we're trying. Those who are prepared to be part of this cause, they organize, and then they have platforms to listen to each other. They become democratic. Because you become...
But Mr. Mawere, maybe you need somebody, if there was going to tell you no. Senior since said he's interested. You keep asking the same question. But allow me to, let's have a conversation. I can't just say I'm interested and I keep quiet. I want people to understand where we are coming from. My understanding is we need to understand what is constitutionalism, and we need people to come in and give their testimony, explain what they understand, what the value in constitutionalism. Because some of us, this is not a new topic to me. Some of us, we've been talking about.
Okay, so I'm. Yeah, I am tired. I need to do other things anyway. So
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, allow me to waffle. What I'm simply saying is that this subject, this topic is critical, and allow anybody, everybody, to explain, to say why they don't like it, why they like
no,
it.
I'm saying is that I've been here for more than 1.5 hours. So can you excuse me today? Today my so I don't want to waste
you. Say this, Mr. Mawere, before I go.
All right.
For record, I've been trying to speak for the past hour. You have not been able to call me, but you've been able to call other people, and I'm not going to take that personal. So it's not. No.
I called you back.
No, what I'm saying, the point I'm driving at positively. I appreciate you've been here for a long time. Let it not sound as if I don't appreciate you've been here for long. I've been here because I'm a concerned citizen, and you have made it clear yourself that Senior wants me to call him, I can't call him. So what I'm trying to say.
No, I was saying is I sent the link to say Senior tomorrow's show.
Closing remarks, Mr. Mawere, throw away the unnecessary things that I'm saying. Let's stick to the topic, which is good. My departing words are, constitutionalism is the foundation if we want to build the future that we want. And I'm encouraging everybody who has been waiting to get things working in Zimbabwe. That is to fix the constitution. So I'm encouraging and supporting and encouraging everybody to participate. I'm not here to go against you, but it's because we are not giving each other chances. And I'm saying, let's discuss openly and let's listen to each other. So I am in, Mr. Mawere, and you tell us, you guide us how you want us to participate.
Okay, no, I'm not a leader, but I guess whatever you can contribute to the cause, fine. And if you can contribute money, lawyers take money more than words because they're putting time. So at this stage, we just want to have one test case that comes out of these interactions with actions, because we can't take what we have spoken and put it into a box, create change out of words. What we need,
I do agree with you, Mr. Mawere.
What we need is to take the step forward so that we can be counted what matters. Like Mashawira, there are times perhaps where he thought lonely, only to discover that today he has been used, and the people who have benefited from his works are not the people who were in the struggle to get where the thing is today. Today, people may not call him, but others are already in positions. That's what life does. People who fight in wars die. Those who remain live to benefit from the fight. So if we are organized, then it means we can get the outcomes that we need. And we can be able to get more out of life. So let us be the change that we want to see. And it doesn't take much. It takes somebody like Signoro to say, I want to speak. And some people may not understand that we have the voice to use. But let's organize those people who create platforms like Uncle Jed, that let us create those platforms and be able to pay for him so that he can give up time while we are enjoying ourselves. Because time is money. And the moment we continue to expect outcomes without giving up anything to secure them, something will go wrong, and will go wrong sooner than later. So if we create a platform, let us look at how we finance it. And if we do that, even if it's litigation, let us not celebrate outcomes or harvest. Let us celebrate the farmer in us, not the harvest in us. So that's all I can say. We have been talking. We can bring all the pop stars and we enjoy. But what are we enjoying towards? What is the end game? If the end game is to make Zimbabwe what it is not, we don't need 40 years to get to know that. In the next 30 years or 40 years, only to arrive where we started. There are many people who are regretting the journey of independence and saying 40 years, when I look back, what is it? So the purpose is clear, that we need to be, the Makuvi say, we need to be the people who are willing to step forward. And let's step forward together as one identity, people who are interested in the rule of law. And the rule of law protects property. It protects those who we think we don't know. There are many people we don't know, whose lives daily are exposed to the life that we don't see. So let's work on building this platform into some tangible end, so that tomorrow when I call the person who is driving this, they can drive it for us. And it is the people who govern, like Lydia said, it is the people. We decide. We are the change we are waiting for. But you can't talk change without the change makers themselves. What does it take for you to answer call? I can see the calls are coming. I've seen you. I got one phone. If I change that, it means I have to cut him out. And you complain and say, Ms. Mawere, I don't, why are you cutting me? So I will answer the calls, or you can call me after the show, so that we all benefit from it. There's one who is calling. Hello? Hello?
Hi, hello. It's Mawere.
Yeah.
Hello. A very good evening to you, sir. I hope you're keeping safe in this pandemic.
Okay, thank you very much. Who am I speaking to? Oh, Vuka. Okay, thanks.
Yes. How are you safe there? Are you keeping a bit safe or obviously considering?
Yeah, no, as long as we are speaking to each other, we're still safe.
I love that. You know what? I just want to say thank you very much for giving up your time and the commitment and the energy you're putting on that. I know. Thanks a million times. Would you certainly appreciate it?
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I have to apologize. You know, that's what he is. I was just provoking your attention. That's all. Don't take me.
No.
Anyway,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that, because obviously when we started the show, I was in, but then I lost it when I went out and get out my house show. When I got back, you asked me, Vuka, I wasn't understanding.
No, what you are saying is there is, we talk of And even on this platform, we don't have rules. We don't know what is going to happen. We are relying on one person to come daily just to bullshit. Instead of me being here, let's be more organized. And there's a case that we said, let's test, because ZANU-PF have got two judgments that say the coup was not a coup. And then on the MDC side, they're saying a coup was a coup. The same bench. So we are saying, in light of this judgment, can the same rules that apply to the ascendance of President Mnangagwa?
Okay, all right. So obviously what we're trying to do here, if you have it on the bench there, is that we're trying to create a platform that obviously creates either a constitution or challenge
No, the lawyers will do that, but we can help. We can help with just fundraising to say, if I have £100, I give up lunch towards this cause, I can give up, so that we can pay the lawyers. We can pay for the cost. So that is not one person who is financing it. So you can contribute whatever you think is within your means. And then we then encourage people not just to talk day in, day out, but to say...
That's true. And Mr. Mawere, thank you very much for that. So where does this money go to? Because sometimes people, as Zimbabweans, we know Mr. Mawere is a multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire. But however, I know sometimes there's a little bit of some...
No, that's why I was saying we can... it will go to the lawyers for the fees. But for now, we can organize the people in the UK. They can put their money together, then we send it as one. So you could volunteer to be the collector. And it's voluntary.
Okay. No, I understand. That's it. I'm going to take much of your time. I can think it. I'm going to like my friend is here watching as well. And I can surely tell you, we contribute in the struggle in our little ways. And I want to thank you, Mr. Mawere. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's people like you who make it happen, because without you, we are talking in the wilderness. But even if I were to finance the litigation, tomorrow people will say I'm fighting a certain person. Remember, even when I make comments about the MDC side, there are people who are angry with me. And yeah.
Because there are people like me who are, I support Nelson Chamisa, and someone supports him, but he needs sometimes, we believe in different things. I personally think challenging my court are captured already. Do you think we have a desired outcome? Is it not possible to remove the capture phase to finance a process that removes the capture, which is in the court? Then we can install the constitution that is agreed by the people, for the people, not for the regime. Does that make sense, sir? Just curious.
Okay, yeah. No, I like your question. I know it may sound crazy that Jesus left no balance sheet, left no account number, but he left experiences. And faith is the biggest driver of all business. In America, they say, in God we trust. Everything else, you must pay cash. So if you believe in something, it will happen. If you believe you want to go to heaven,
thank you very much.
You go to heaven. But if you believe in something and you do nothing about it, then it's dead. So...
No, that's true. What I believe in, before I go, because you've been here for too long, I don't want to take your time. I think what I believe is the young people, the young blood, the young energy should raise up against this ZANU-PF government. The old people, the senior citizens, should advise the young people on how to handle the politics after the regime which called the NR.
You know what one famous economist said? He said, in the long term, we are all dead. We can hope. No, I'm saying it's nothing to do with young people. If I step on your toe, please act now. Don't defer it. And I'm saying is that institutions are changed by people. In South Africa, we saw it happen. We saw Zuma being removed by opposition parties, you know that. They went to court. No, I'm saying it started as Ghana independence. Sudan was, and others said, why can't we have the same? It started with a few blacks going to school. It started with one lawyer in a village. So I'm saying is, let us not talk about the future as if we own it. I know you may want things to happen. Shanghai died before. You always told me, Mawere, I'll sort out your stuff when I get into government. I said, don't talk about going into government. Just talk about what you can do now. If we say we're going to challenge, let's just have faith that even those who are impenetrable, even Goliath can be defeated by David. But the tragedy is not everything you propose, others say no, as if they are little Jesuses or little gods. I don't know what life brings. I didn't even know I was going to talk to you today. But here I am talking to you because life allows me to talk to you. There will come a time when I can't talk to you. So this is what we are fighting. I am not an expert on life. I don't know why someone will have a coup so that he can run elections unless he knows the coup is important for the elections. And once they're in government, and Mugabe was almost dying in government office until they had a coup. You understand? So if you don't, but there's no military that can stand against the will of the people. So we now have something to talk about rule of law. No, I'm saying is don't despair, Vuka. One famous, you know what he said? You know what? Yeah.
Let me go.
Yeah.
Okay, let me leave you. Thanks for leaving me up here.
Okay, thanks. So there you are. We can't solve. I am not here to tell you what works, what doesn't work. All I know is that if you do nothing, nothing will come out of it. So that's my own parting words. I'm not going to argue with Lydia. You say, so we can't be lectured. I'm not here to lecture you on anything. What I'm saying is if you do nothing, nothing will come. It doesn't stop you from doing everything you can in your own capacity. But at least do something. Whatever it is, if it works for you, that's fine. All I'm saying is that don't leave it if you can do it. You never know what life can bring. Thank you very much.